So I keep getting asked about the systems and software that we use in our business. So I'm going to just run through some of the core ones. This by no means is everything, but this is purely focused around kind of the service accommodation side of things. Doesn't really touch on, I guess, the cleaning as well, the cleaning side of the business, but it doesn't really touch on the WhatsApp groups and the training sort of marketing, etc. that we do. But effectively, I'll kind of go start to finish here. So this is a spreadsheet or a Google sheet that the VAs in the Philippines fill out. So they're constantly scrolling the portals for properties, and they then put them into this spreadsheet, and it gives a formula here, which is a below market value discount based on how we've taught them to search for the market price versus the asking price. Obviously, we then see the percentage, and we then do a bit more of a deep dive in it and have a look and sort of make comments whether they're worth viewing or not. What we then do is I'll jump into our deal analyzer, and we then put them through the paces of all the numbers and the viability of it, and then obviously we have it splits it into whether it's an SA opportunity or a HMO opportunity. So by just filling the figures in on the front end, it tells us on the back end what the seasonal opportunity is going to be for service accommodation, and also how much the payback will be, what the profits of the deals will be, etc., etc. And then if we decide we might want to flip it into a HMO, it also runs the same sort of analysis, but instead of obviously nightly rates and cleaning and linen, we obviously have our room rentals on there. So I then use Rightmove house prices to get a good idea of the value of houses if I'm purchasing. Obviously, Rightmove to search, like in a quarter mile, see what else is selling in that area. I quite like Mouse Price. I think it's quite accurate in terms of the valuations that it gives and the rentals. So obviously, this is if we're purchasing as opposed to renting. I then have Google Calendar. Yes, that is my calendar. That is probably an average week. We then have Beds24, which runs our that's our channel manager. So it runs everything: bookings, calendars, rates, the lot. Once someone makes a booking, that comes through Beds24, and then it pings into Wishbox. Wishbox then sends the customers a pre-check-in email, and we try and then it acquires their details, their correct email address and phone numbers, and then it creates this sort of guest area where we can put in our access codes, check-in instructions, sofa beds, terms of the stay, etc., etc., and it creates a nice little app for them which looks like this. We also then have chat and notifications within this system, so if the guest wants to chat with us by clicking this button on their phone, it comes through on our system, we can chat with them. So the VAs look after that. Accounting wise, this all feeds through Zapier. So what we do is we dump the data of the bookings into this Google sheet, and it's got all the information, and then that feeds into Xero, which is our accounting software, and that's done through Zapier, which is just basically a system that talks one program to another. So you'll see here, ClickFunnels is talking to Outlook, ClickFunnels is talking to Google Sheets. In here, there's a couple of steps in there, Xero talking to Google Sheets, and you can create multiple Zaps for your business. This, for me, I think it's $20 a month. It is worth every penny. You can automate so much with Zaps. It then feeds into this is my kind of operating accounts document. So all the costs and expenditures, sales, etc., all drop into here, and then these all sort of formulate through into spreadsheets, which I then look at on a daily basis. We use Price Labs. This gives us a good idea of what our calendars are looking like and what we need to do to tweak the prices, etc., etc. Active Campaign is where all of our email addresses then get stored, and then obviously we do our follow-up marketing, our drip campaigns, etc., etc., and that's for guests trying to get them to rebook, direct bookings, and all that sort of stuff. We have Asana, which is a super powerful tool. So we can just, if we set change the bank account, for example. So I need some council taxes changed. So I just drop it in here. It's properly set up, in progress done. I then assign it to one of the VAs, and then they just move it from there to there to there, and then they tick when it's done, and then I know it's done because I get notifications. Also on your home screen, you get tasks due soon, so you can see all your tasks that are due soon, and that just keeps you on track of everything. You also get email notifications, and again, the best thing about that is most of it, well, it's free unless you want some of the premium features, which I don't really think you need, but you can run a team off Asana. It's fantastic. We have Atto, which is our cleaning time tracker. So obviously these are all not active at the minute. Saturday's a quiet day for us, really. Sundays is busy. In terms of checkouts, we've got a few today, but not many. So once they get to a property, they check in, and once they leave, they check out. And then we get a timesheet at the end of the week for each one, and we just pay them hourly rate times the timesheet. And it keeps the accounting process very, very simple. Loom videos, I do a lot of these Loom videos. Anything I do, I record. It stops me having to repeat myself. And then we have a company Vimeo account. So within the Vimeo account, I'll only do something once. I'll record it and I drop videos. I then just store them in here. So if anyone ever says to me, how do I set up a council tax? There we go. So that one will have been a video for the task that I set in Asana. They then go in and click the video and they're watching and they learn how to do it. So I might have done it for the first one, and then they've got to do it for all the other properties. Same with everything that we do. It just drops it in, and this is a huge time saver if you do want to expand your business without you getting sucked into the operations. I'd strongly advise you start doing this sooner rather than later. I wish I'd started it a long time ago, but I didn't. On top of everything else, we've got multiple WhatsApp groups. I have WhatsApp on the computer here. So you not only got it on your phone, but you have got it on your computer. And, we've got multiple groups going at the same time, which is, for the cleaners, for example, when they get to a clean, they drop all the before photos into a WhatsApp group, and then they take them out, and then they do the after photographs as well. So we've got everything's just logged. And it's also speed as well. We don't want them doing check sheets and all that sort of stuff. Just photographs, list the damage, and move on, get the clean done. And then on the back end, we've got the VAs reporting everything. So they're sat creating this daily report, which for me is gold dust. So every morning I get this, and at the end of every day I get it. So pre-check-ins completed. If they haven't pre-checked in, we're going to encounter a problem because it means they won't get the lockbox codes via Wishbox. So we basically have to chase these down. So we look for the ones that are due in the next 72 hours, and we chase them down. So ideally, when I get this sheet at the end of the day, these 4 people won't be on the sheet. Guests due in today, guests due out. As you can see, Saturday's pretty quiet. Clean scheduled. So we've got a couple of cleans on there. I've got a deep clean on as well. Maintenance issues, we class them as urgent and non-urgent. So urgent is what we need to get sorted, fairly sharpish, and non-urgent is obviously just a list of stuff. And then we've got some guest checkout comments as well, which I think is handy because it gives us an insight as to what's going on and what we need to do to improve. So we do log those and we kind of work through them. When you get a large portfolio, it is hard to stay on top of everything. It really is. So you've got to just do your best to react, and obviously things do creep through which aren't great, but that's part of the pain point of growing, I guess. So, and then we have obviously lockbox. If any lockbox codes are changed, I like them to be logged with the old code and the new code, just in case something goes wrong and we can't remember what the code was. And then we go back to some of the sheets and just have a look at it. So that's kind of a bit of a quick shot as to how we run our business as automated as possible, reduce time input from humans as much as possible. And if anyone would like to pick my brains on anything, or you'd like me to help you set anything up, or you'd like some advice on what you should use for your business, that's kind of what I do as a business consultancy. So, I've used a lot of, I've probably trialed every single, well, not every single, but a lot of channel managers. So if you're looking for a channel manager, I can give you the pros and cons on quite a lot of them. Same with softwares like Wishbox and guest communication softwares. Same with sort of mailing softwares. We used to use MailChimp. We now use ActiveCampaign. Find it's much better. So Asana, I used to use, what was it called again? Forgot what it's called now. It was a similar version of Asana. We used to use that, but we moved over to Asana because it's just, well, for one, it's free, but also I just think it's much better. So Atto, we used to use spreadsheets, but now we use software, and it's just made life so much easier. So I am all about making life easy, coming out of the operation so you can spend more time on acquiring properties, doing deals, and bringing more money into the business. And if you get sucked into the operations, you need to be doing things like this and putting systems and processes in place so that your business can continue to grow and you don't suffocate yourself as you get bigger and bigger, which is the case with many businesses that you see. They have a great start and then they just suffocate themselves and they don't get anywhere or they end up failing. So I hope that helps. And as I said, if anyone wants to reach out to me, just reach out to me and we can have a chat. Cheers.